All right. Welcome back to the COS Business podcast. My name is Andrew Hazzlee, and I'm the host of the show. Today we have on Gilbert Smith with Victory MMA, right?
Yeah, Victory MMA.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you tell us like a brief summary of what your business is about?
Yeah, so my business is called Victory MMA, which stands for mixed martial arts. You know, I teach jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, wrestling, basically MMA, and most people could associate MMA with the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
So I train fighters to compete, and I also use it for people to improve their fitness.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about mindset?
Mindset, definitely mindset. You know, okay. So to give you a little bit of background about myself, most people know me because I was on the Ultimate Fighter TV show, season 17 and season 25.
Okay.
I fought in the UFC myself. I was a world champion. I'm a BJJ black belt. All those great things. So I use martial arts to help not only strengthen the body but also strengthen the mind. Teach people a sense of self-confidence, a sense-awareness, and self-efficacy. They're just all the things that really help make you to a strong individual.
For sure, man. Well, I'm excited to get into that in this episode.
Yeah.
I'll roll the intro music and the first ad, and we'll get going.
No problem.
Colorado Springs. Yeah. And that ad actually gets edited in post, so
yeah, cool.
So that just gets
cool intro.
Thank you. Yeah,
I need to work on that.
Yeah.
For my podcast. Yeah.
If you need help, I know a guy.
Yeah.
Me.
I need a lot of help.
Yeah. Well, sweet, man. So how long have you been? How long have you started your business, and then how long have you been fighting?
Okay, well, it all honestly, they kind of all happened at the same time. So I've had my business since January of 2009, which is also the time I actually officially start fighting.
Okay.
I've been training and competing in jiu-jitsu since like 2005, but I didn't have my first MMA fight until 2009. And I started out with just like renting space from a dance studio, a capoeira dance studio.
Oh, nice. Capoeira's like a fighting dance, though.
Yeah. I actually started my martial arts training in capoeira.
Nice.
And I started renting space from my old master who we was cool with, and he was like, "Hey, I could give you space so you could train and also teach others." So it was a kind of a perfect situation for me. So I had a place where I could actually train and teach. Since when I came to Colorado Springs after I got out the Army and finished doing civilian contracting, I didn't have a really good place in Colorado Springs to train, so I created my space.
Okay, so you're like, I don't have a good space, I'm just going to make it myself.
Yeah.
I like it. I walk my own path, too.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, for sure. When did you come out to the Springs? When was that? When you first built your own space and came out here?
It was in January. So I've been living in the Springs since 2000 on and off. I left for a little bit because I was in the military.
And the military is what brought you out here, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I came out here in 2000, April of 2000. I was 18 years old.
Okay.
And this was my first duty station. I went from Fort Carson to Fort Detrick, Maryland, to Korea, Iraq, back to Fort Carson, and then I got out of Fort Carson in 2005. Then from there, I went back to Iraq, and I did 3 years civilian contracting in Iraq with ITT Industries. I was an IT guy.
Okay.
I had a top secret clearance, and I made a lot of good money there. From there, I traveled the world. I went to Thailand, Brazil, all over the place, trained with some of the best guys in the world before I settled down in Colorado Springs and decided to open up my school.
And what made you want to settle down here?
At the time, my family was here, my kids was here, my wife, or my ex-wife at the time, well, ex-wife now, but wife at the time, she's from Colorado Springs, and so this just was the place. Plus, honestly, I love Colorado Springs.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place to be. It makes me, just inspired just living here,
Yeah, so I'm from New York, Jersey. I lived in both, and I didn't want to go back home, man. I love the East Coast. I love visiting, but I wouldn't want to live there.
That's how I feel about Kansas City, which is where I'm from.
Yeah.
I visit there, but I don't want to live there. I'm moved on.
Yeah.
Essentially. So how was that like starting out, working at the dance studio? How were you able to grow from there?
Well, first and foremost, I was able to structure a deal with the guy I was renting from that made the most business sense, and it made it so that I always made a profit. Because the way it works is that every student I brought in, I would get, I would pay the studio a percentage of what the student paid me. So for instance, at the time, it was like, I think it was 60-40.
Okay.
The studio.
And they only charged when you brought people?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a nice deal.
Yeah, so I was teaching class. So when someone signed up as a member to my gym, or to my class, let's say they was paying $100, right? I would pay the studio 40 and I would keep 60.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it didn't matter if I had 1 student or 10 students. I was always making a profit, and I didn't have a huge overhead, meaning I didn't have to pay rent. I didn't have hardcore bills, so it was always a profit. And for them, the studio was a profit for them because they was already doing and running business and running classes. I was actually using the studio space during time that they didn't have anything going on.
For sure, yeah.
So it worked out for both parties.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I love deals like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So then you started growing a awareness and client base from that? Yeah,
well, so first and foremost, I went to school and I finished out my bachelor's degree in exercise science, and then I jumped straight into my master's.
Okay.
I finished out my MBA, my master's in business, and then I finished out my master's in project management. So I have 2 master's degrees, and through all that, I started structuring deals and growing and learning how to market, how to promote, how to just take care of a business.
Yes.
So long-term speaking, this business could grow. So yeah, so it grew from a small little hole, running space, to I went to another location, a little bit bigger, a little bit better deal, almost same structure, and then it grew to another spot, and to another spot, and to the spot I have now. Now, what ended up happening is that I decided to venture out on my own. No longer renting space from someone.
For sure.
No longer being part-time, like, I have this space doing these hours.
Someone else's logo on the building.
Yes, right. So at that time, I was still fighting and competing. I won some big fights. I made some good money. I had the education and the know-how and the experience and the following. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I need to be my own man. So I decided to buy out this last location, and now I own everything. And now it's just Victor MMA, Gilbert Smith.
How were you able to be fighting and running this business at the same time? How did you do that?
Man, it was more than that, bro. I was fighting, running a business, going to school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Raising 3 kids. Teaching people. Because running the business is one thing, but then you have to actually provide the service, and the service is teaching martial arts. So I had to teach the martial arts while still making sure people are paying their dues. The pricing was correct, the marketing was on point. So it was a very busy. It's still busy. I just believe in hard work, dedication, which I literally have tatted on my chest.
Yeah. So how do you think you were able to juggle all those things at once and maintain with them?
I look back at the beginning of it, and I'm not really too sure, except for the fact that I just wake up every morning with this drive to go accomplish something, to go push myself a little bit further than where I was at yesterday.
What's that first thought that you have in your mind when you wake up?
What can I do today to make me better?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like the way that I live my life, I don't live by excuses. I live by actions. Like I tell people all the time, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. That's the way you should live your life.
For sure.
Don't look at problems and look at it like, oh my God, I can't believe this happening. Look at a problem and say, how can I fix it?
The faster you focus on a solution, the faster you get through that.
So I mean, there was a lot of road bumps. There was a lot of learning lessons. There's a lot of times that I actually almost came close to quitting. But through it all, I just kept kept working hard and just being smart. And another key thing too, bro, I surrounded myself with people that I could trust, and people that that was just good people, that was smart too. So if I didn't know something, I would go seek out that information, because I understood that I didn't know everything. I give you my motto, bro. I've never been the strongest person, smartest person, fastest person, prettiest person, whatever. But I have a sickening work ethic.
For sure.
And that's what beat most people. and that's what kept me going and got me to the level I'm at now.
Yeah, and you can see that because you have things to prove it.
Yeah, you know, my gym, I have over 200. I got about 214 members.
Okay.
You know, I have a good group of fighters. I have 6,000 square feet of gym space with a lot of equipment and
you got a whole octagon in there, right?
Yeah, I have a whole octagon. I got a boxing ring, mat space, 14 heavy bags, a sauna, a lot of workout equipment, cable machines, treadmills, whatever you need. Like,
and you got the greeneries, the micronutritions.
Yeah. The microgreens.
Yeah, microgreens.
And
but that's not part of the gym. I just seen it last time I was there.
Yeah, well.
Or is it?
No. It's actually one of the members that come to my acro class. I believe he's part of the owner of Supermarket Greens here in Colorado Springs. I have to talk to him, or at least he's promoting it. And you know, and he bought me some microgreens, dealing with eating sprouts, and it was great, and it's way more nutritious than like a multivitamin.
Okay, for sure.
And I loved it. So I actually he brought me some, and I loved it, and I bought some more from him. So
okay, nice.
You know, always trying to find ways to better my body.
So with your master's degree in like you said exercise science, does that involve nutrition? I assume.
Yeah, I'm not a nutrition specialist, but my bachelor's degree is exercise science, and I have a little take on nutrition, but I won't say I'm a nutrition specialist. I'm not like a dietitian or anything like that. You know, I know enough to get people to a level of success.
For sure.
Yeah. And then truth is, I'm always learning, man. You're reading, studying. There's always new information coming out. So once again, I'm always trying to stay on top of you know, how can I just be better all around. For
sure. And so with the gym, what is your vision with it? Where do you want to take it from here? You're here now. You built it up for a decade now, and so what's the next decade?
That's the hardest part, is to see, you know, what's the next evolution. Obviously, I want to build some world champions. I want to build some guys that I can take to the UFC, and be successful at that. I actually want to get to a point that I'm no longer the focal point of the gym.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because right now I'm doing a lot. I have some coaches, but like I'm coaching a lot of the classes, and people look to me for the information, and I want to build my students up so they could teach my program. For sure. And teach my curriculum, and I could focus more on the gym. And then, you know, who knows? Maybe looking for another location. So those are all the things in the works. Right now, I am having fun where I'm at, because sometimes you overload yourself. And you take on too much. So I'm making good money. The clients, members, fighters are happy. So yeah, everything's going good for the current times. For sure. So being in the UFC, what was that like? You know, it was great. I wish I'd have done better, you know, to be honest. You know, so to give you a little bit of understanding, I didn't have my first fight until I was 27. Okay. You know, that's old. That's old. Okay. And, you know, you see guys in the UFC, they're like 20, 21, you know, they're really, really young. Luckily for me, I was just so good and so dedicated that within a small amount of time, I was able to make it to the UFC. I mean, I wish I started back in my early 20s. For sure. You know, but at that time, I was in the Army, you know, serving this country. But, you know, fighting and competing in the UFC was an honor. To make that walk, to fight in Mandalay Bay, to be an Ultimate Fighter, to be coached under John Jones, to be coached under TJ Dillashaw, you know, to be able to, you know, for people to see me live on TV and doing what I love to do. So all of that was a great blessing. For sure, yeah. It was what was like a huge lesson that you took away from that? There's so many lessons I bet, you can take away. Understanding what it takes to get to that level. You know, the grind that you have to commit to, not only to get there, but to stay there. It's one thing to make it to the UFC, it's another thing to stay there, you know. So there's a lot of learning lessons that I had to learn the hard way that my goal is to pass on to the next generation. But to get to that level of success, it's the pinnacle of the sport. So so to get there, it let me know that I was doing some really good things.
For sure.
But
you can like let that get to your head, I guess.
Well, I mean, the thing about fighting is fighting to humble you real quick.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I can't let that get to my head.
What was that Mike Tyson saying where he said everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face or
correct.
something like that?
Yeah, correct. So I can't let it get to my head because if in that case I would still be in the UFC, right? So so there's obviously a big learning curve that I had to go through, and everything happened so fast that it was like, I mean, seriously, bro, I made my amateur debut January 9th, 2009. I went pro 2 years later. 2 years later after that, almost a year and a half later after that, I was in the UFC. So I made it to the UFC to close to 3.5 to 4 years.
What's typical?
Which is people spend a decade, trying to get there. Yeah. So like, I made it super fast, and I did it relatively on my own. I didn't have big name coaches. I didn't come from a big camp or a bunch of other UFC guys. So I mean, it was just so much learning on the job. And now because I had that experience, I'm able to pass that on. Like I wasn't able to be given that knowledge. I had to learn on the job, which I believe was what kind of halted my growth at that point. But I'm gonna take it as a blessing, and not not look at it too much in a negative mind frame. Because now that I experienced it, I could pass it on.
For sure. Did you see that thing? Eminem talking to Dana White recently.
Eminem.
Yeah, like Slim Shady.
Yeah.
He said he was talking. He basically was just telling Dana White like how it is, like straight up. Like I don't know. He said some stuff. It sounded like it was like like he was about to spark some beef or something.
Oh no, I didn't.
I think it just happened yesterday.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do some research on that.
Yeah.
I can't see how those two will be beefing. I feel like I feel like they cross some paths. Dana White he is such a busy man. He got so much going on. He got such a huge fight this weekend. And I think that's his sole focus.
Well, I think what he specifically said was, this is exactly almost verbatim what Eminem said. And I just seen a clip of it. He was just like, the good thing about your opinion is that it doesn't matter. And he said, if it wasn't for the fighters, you wouldn't even have a league or something like that. It just sounded like he was like...
Eminem?
Yeah, Eminem said that to him, like on like a video thing.
Yeah. I would have to see what was the context
same here.
Of that statement and why it was said to make sense of it, because it really just doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, because the other guy that was like on the TV screen, he was just like, his eyes were like, is he really saying this right now?
Because like I don't see how Dana White and Eminem cross paths.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
but one thing I know, because I don't walk in those circles. You know what I'm saying? Those are rich people problems, superstar problems. That I don't know anything about.
Yeah. So what is? I'm just curious because I'm not sure. What does payment look like for fighting in the UFC? What does that look like? How is that modeled?
Well, so as a fighter, you get typically 2 payments, right? You get paid to show your show purse, and you get win purse. Okay. So and it usually kind of mirrors each other. So if you have 50 grand to show, you get 50 grand to win. So if you win, you walk away with 100 grand.
Nice. If
you lose, you walk away with 50 grand, which it hurts a lot of fighters because you go in there hoping to get that full paycheck. You want to get half of it.
Yeah.
So it should motivate you to go out there and win the fight. But sometimes, no matter how much you want to win, the other guy wants to do the same. And,
exactly. And only one can win.
Yeah, right. So, but that's typically how it goes. Unless you like someone like Conor McGregor, to probably get like guaranteed money and a little pay off the pay-per-view buy. So, which the lower guys don't get that.
For sure, and then he also has the whiskey
on
top,
which doesn't have a lot to do with the UFC. That's his own personal business. And that's what a lot of UFC fighters should do. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to that level and you have a certain name, you should look to establish a brand and figure out how can you stretch that out, because you can't fight forever, and money goes away so fast. That paycheck goes away, especially when you look at, if you break it down, that if you get paid in the UFC 100 grand, right? A lot of times 10 to 20% goes to your manager. 10 to 20% goes to your trainer. Your nutritionist, your massage therapist gets paid. Your strength and conditioning coach.
It's a business, it sounds like.
Yeah, gets paid. Obviously you got to pay the IRS.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, by the time you bring home that paycheck, it dwindles down to a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and plus the biggest thing about fighting is that you don't get paid until you fight. So if you don't fight for 2, 3, 4 months, you're not getting a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that 2, 3, 4 months, you don't rack up a bunch of bills, car note, insurance,
got a loan or something,
your loan, a house. You got kids. So by the time you get paid, that money's already out the door. Unless you know how to invest it, unless you know how to create a certain brand that you could bring in other
multiple streams.
Yeah, multiple streams of revenue. And if you're not doing that, man, you better hope you are a world champion for a long time, and most are not.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like it's probably only like a small percentage.
Yeah, 1% of the fighters make 99% of the money.
Yeah,
in the fight game.
Okay.
That's true for MMA as it is true for boxing.
As it is true for everything.
Yeah, right.
Or that's what it seems like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you work for Amazon, look how much money you're making compared to how much money, Jeff Bezos is making. So you have to understand the only difference is that as a UFC fighter, you have a platform that you can, create a brand that with the right marketing ploy, you can establish something, whatever speaks to you, whatever makes the most sense, whatever that could generate the biggest return on your investment.
So within your business, how do you provide a good service for your clients?
Well, so one, I keep it simple. Like, so you start out, you come into my gym, and we got a couple different programs where you could train 3 days a week or 6 days a week. So you can decide if you want to be unlimited or limited. But each day of the week, we got 3 to 4 classes. You could come to all those classes in that day. So you could take a jiu-jitsu class and a boxing class, and that's all considered one day. You could come and lift weights. You could hit the bag, use the sauna.
And you pay for one day?
Well, you either get the limited, which is 3 days a week,
okay,
or unlimited 6 days a week, which is every day that we open. We close on Sundays. So from there, you can maximize your money by coming in and taking multiple classes, maybe lifting, hitting the bag, jumping in the sauna.
It allows you to basically reap what you put in.
Yes, and the coolest thing is that the difference between my gym and a Vasa Sport is the fact that you are able, you come to the gym and we have a structured program for you. You come and train. We got a structured boxing class, structured kickboxing class, structured jiu-jitsu class. So you don't have to think about what do you want to do today. Am I going to do legs? Am I going to do back? Am I going to hit the bag? It's already there for you. And you're going to be training with high-level guys that's been qualified through certifications, through experience, fighting experience, through the belt system. Because I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like my other coach is also a black belt. The people you train under is world-class people that you could look up. Like you could Google Gilbert Smith and see my fights. You could see what I'm about.
Yeah.
So when you step in through the door, you know who you're training with, and not some guy that they look cool and they got a couple of pictures on the wall. The other cool thing about the gym is so there's a lot of great gyms in Colorado Springs, but I believe there's no gym that gives you everything. Like they got a lot of great jiu-jitsu gyms. They got a lot of great boxing gyms. But we do it all in one spot. There's a lot of good workout gyms, but you could do that too all in one spot. So it's like a one-size-fits-all that you could come in and figure out what do you want to do. Do you want to box? Do you want to kickbox? Do you want to grapple? Do you want to do MMA? Do you want to just lift? Do you want to hit the bag? Like you could really come and be the person you want to be.
And you guys help work out a plan for each individual?
Well, yeah. So you come and take class. If you want like a structured plan, then I'd be more in line with getting privates.
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
If you want to just come and do your own thing, don't even take class. We got an open gym program. You come in, just use the equipment we have. Because most gyms don't have the heavy bags and the mat space and all the equipment that we have, especially when it comes to like martial art training. Yeah.
Because you have to have a sparring area for martial art training.
Yeah. And most gyms won't even let you spar, right? Because it's an insurance.
It is, huh? Yeah. So with COVID, what happened with that when that first happened? Did your business had to shut down essentially?
Yeah, we did have to shut down because it was mandated. But once we was able to open up, we opened up full born. We didn't do. I'll be honest with you. Listen, I understand COVID is a real thing. I understand people have died from COVID. My father got extremely sick. Luckily, he survived it. I myself have had COVID. So I don't take COVID for a joke. But on the flip side, so many people put emphasis on wearing a mask and being 6 feet, social distance, but not enough people are talking about being healthy. I got COVID. Yes, I'm a young man. I'm 39, you know, but I was able to deal with COVID because of how I take care of my body.
For sure.
You know, I take the vitamins I need to take. I get the sleep I need to sleep. I have the diet that I need, and I work out. I believe that if there was a little bit more emphasis on being physically healthy, think about this.
And you don't hear any of that.
No, you don't. You don't. Like, we are the most unhealthy nation and the richest nation. We got the most resources in the world. Okay? We had an opportunity, and probably still do, if you're able to turn some corners here, to change the unhealthy lifestyle that's very prominent in this country. Okay? Yes, we could scream mask and social distance all you want, but that's not going to make the country healthy. And we still got other diseases we need to be combating. So my gym focus on that. We focus on becoming a healthy person, not just physically, but mentally.
And exercise actually is like, I think it's even more important than just the physical part, because it really helps with your mentality. And like, we have so many mental illnesses in this country as well. Well,
they say if doctors and the pharmaceutical companies could put exercise into a pill, it'd be the most potent pill ever.
Yeah, for
sure.
You
know what I'm saying? Because it really, really helps you become healthy. It helps you fight disease. It helps you be mentally strong. If you're mentally strong, you are in a better place to fight off a disease like COVID.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? If you're already depressed, if you're already lonely, if you're going through a lot of issues, and now you get COVID, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Your take on it is going to be so much worse. So I believe that my gym is providing a service that's combating a disease like COVID. And yes, I'm sorry, we can't wear a mask. Like, we can't box and grapple with a mask on. We can't social distance. So, you know, we keep it simple. Listen, if you are a high-risk individual, stay home. If you're around high-risk individuals, stay home. If you get sick and feeling symptoms, stay home. Go get tested. Before you come through the door, you're going to get your temperature checked. Outside of that, ain't too much we can do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So we train and we work hard.
No use in making the disease worse than it already is.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing by doing all this crazy.
Yeah, because if I live by all the guidelines, I would literally have to shut my gym down. And that's 10 years. I'm just not willing to do that. I mean, they're going to have to come shut me down. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, I feel like I'm providing a service for the community by giving people an opportunity to train and be healthy.
Yeah. And I do believe the way that, like, we are, like, one of the most unhealthy nations, if not the.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But I do believe over the last 10 to 20 years, we have started to make major shifts in that. You know, coming out with the documentary, the Super Size Me, starting at that. And then, like,
I disagree.
Oh,
I think the numbers are still high. Diabetes, heart disease, you know, obesity, clinical depression. Those things are still at an astronomically high number.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You have to think the food now has very limited nutrition in it. Most of the stuff we eat has no nutritional value. There's a lot of organic and
there is a shift with that wasn't there.
But those things are sometimes so expensive and so out of the realm that people are not seeking those things out, and they're also not educated on it.
I gotta hit these buttons. That's going again, and I usually like to find a good stopping point, but we were just in conversation.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So I believe that we are so fixated on being reactive instead of being proactive. We're so fixated on once we get the disease, now we want to do something. Okay? Once we get sick, now we want to do something. Instead of, you know, really promoting a healthy way of living that's sustainable for all walks of life, for the rich and for the poor. and I feel like we have miles and miles to go in this country to make that a viable future.
Yeah. And what I was just thinking is, like, in the 60s, if you seen someone running down the street, they were weird.
Yeah.
You know, like, at least from the 60s, we've come a long way.
Yeah, but on the same token, you could make the argument that now with all of social media and the cell phones and the video games, people are spending more and more time sitting down behind the TV, behind the computer.
Now they're looking down all the time and their necks going down.
Looking at a phone instead of being active, especially with our kids. Like, it's so horrible to see kids nowadays with a phone in their hand. And I'm not saying I'm some like saint, because, you know, I fall victim to some of the same things that I'm talking about.
For sure.
But I mean, I do work out. I mean, I live in a gym. I spend 8 hours in the gym, and I really try to advocate it. I know I could still do better though, honestly. But you know, those things are still.
I think you just have kind of that mentality, is like, you could always do better. I know I'm that kind of person.
Yeah.
Like, I could, no matter how well I do, it's like I could always do a little better.
Yeah. So honestly, man, you know, I believe with COVID in my gym, because there was a little bit of an outbreak, and we did shut down for 2 weeks, especially when I got COVID and a couple other people got COVID, so we shut down, and everybody got tested, came back negative, and it's like, you know, if we get it again, who knows? I don't know, maybe, but like, I'm just not willing to live my life in fear.
For sure.
And I believe that if I keep doing what I'm doing, if I get COVID again, then I'm going to be good, you know. And the people that's a part of the gym, they have the same mind frame. They're all working hard, staying healthy, doing the right things. Just being around that type of atmosphere is so much more beneficial than if I was like wearing masks and social distancing and quarantining in my house and not living life.
Yeah. And you know, I do, you know, I've just had COVID conversations so many times. It's usually a topic I try to avoid, but. Not avoid, it's just one I don't like having.
Yeah.
But, you know, with your business, you know, being a gym, I could see how that's very, very, probably impactful on your business, or at least was.
Well, I tell you what, this year has been my most profitable year.
Interesting. Okay.
My people just need something to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about it, you know, we can't go to movies or concerts or football games, basketball games. You know, a lot of people are sitting around not doing anything. Like, you know what? I might as well go get fit. You know what I'm saying? I might as well learn how to protect myself, you know, and learn self-defense and learn martial arts, and things that I've been looking at and wanting to do forever. Now I have the time because I can't do anything else.
For sure.
You know, so it's been a really good year for me.
That's good. Yeah. Sweet.
Outside of maybe getting shut down again, you know, outside of that is, you know, I have a bright future, and we're just moving forward and doing good things and being positive.
For sure. So is there anything you'd like to promote specifically on today's episode?
I would like to promote my podcast. You know, it's called Hard Work, Bad Decisions.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, right. It's about people telling their stories on things they went through in their life that they had to get past. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we all have the best intentions for the most part, but sometimes things doesn't work out. Maybe it's not my fault. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe it was a bad decision I made, and now I have to work through that. So just telling your story, going through it, it's called Hard Work, Bad Decisions, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's talk about it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, you can find it under Victory MMA, so Victory MMA, the page of Victory MMA is going to have multiple things. It's going to have that podcast. It's going to have a bunch of workouts on it, different techniques, you know, words of wisdom. So I'm trying to turn Victory MMA page on YouTube into like a multitude different things you can get from it.
For sure. Yeah. It's a full YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I dig it, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go subscribe, and you guys should too.
Yeah. And also find me on all the social media on Instagram and Facebook. Check out Gilbert Smith, and you know, YouTube and Facebook, Snapchat, all those things. I haven't jumped on TikTok and things like that. Maybe one day, and I know you're telling me I should, but I'm already overwhelmed by just all the social media stuff I'm doing already.
Well, TikTok could definitely skyrocket you fast. That's the appeal of TikTok. It's basically like a viral machine.
Yeah. So
a micro viral machine.
I keep hearing it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely smart to get a strategy on that. I think if you're wanting to grow an audience, and that could drive traffic to your YouTube channel. Actually, you could use it as like a traffic drive.
Yeah. I you know what? 2021, man. it's been a year that I established some New Year's resolutions on really building the brand of victory.
Okay.
You know, and in a multitude different ways, besides just a fitness, martial arts, you know, training and fighting, but also a brand, a lifestyle you could live by. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Telling your story, understanding that the key to success is through failure, and that's what the podcast is kind of really dipping into. So yeah, man, really trying to build victory.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, and if you, I'm juggling the idea. I might start renting out this space for other people's podcasts. Yeah. If that sounds like something that would work for you.
Yeah, I mean, you seem like you have a really good setup. Mine is really, really elementary.
Okay.
So I would definitely like to check out this spot and kind of.
And that would include, you know, using the equipment that's here, of course. Yeah. And like I think I seen your banner, and like you pop that up right there, or you know, we could even black out the whole blue thing and then pop that up.
That'd be dope. And interesting.
It's just an idea I had. Someone reached out to me about a month ago, asking if they could use the space like once a month, and then I was like, that could help the space pay for itself.
Yeah. I mean, that's another way to generate some revenue.
Yeah.
Like you said, to have a space pay for itself. That's awesome.
For sure. And then also my video production business. We're doing some videos for your son.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
My son is so talented, man. You know, I hate when I hate when I tell people like, hey, you know, my son raps. And they look at me like, yeah, everybody raps. Like, everybody think they're a rapper, right? Man, but if you listen to his music, it's like it's heartfelt. It's like
there's substance in it.
There's substance to
and it sounds good.
Yeah, it's good lyrical music. Not like bumble rap, like, and not like a bunch of curse words and living like, you know, you balling, you got a bunch of girls and you got all this money. Nah, man, like my son is spitting some real stuff, talking about his life, his mental state, things he's been through, and like, you know, even at his young age, and even seeing the stuff that I went through, being, you know, the highs and lows of competing, like there's a lot of lessons that he learned in his young age, and like, and the way he's putting it into his music, you know, is awesome. His name is his rap name Shakur the Bag, which is a pretty he's called it Secure the Bag, and his middle name is Shakur. I named him after Tupac. I was a huge,
nice, okay.
Yeah, I was a huge Tupac fanatic growing up, right? So I named my son Elijah Shakur Smith.
Nice, I like that.
And seeing him develop into the man that he is, and with his lyrical talent, has been a blessing.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm really excited to be working with you.
Yeah. For you to do that video for his song "Save Me," which is on all the platforms, on the, you know, Apple Music and Spotify and SoundCloud. The vision he has for it, we was talking about it last night, is super dope. So I'm excited to see what y'all two come up with. For
sure, man. And my business doesn't even we don't really do music videos, but I've had a passion for music always, and I think it's really coming to aligning, because I also really dig his music too, so I think the stars are aligning on that. But my business mainly focuses on for doing videos for business. And you were saying you really wanted to build out the brand for that. And we really focus on building branding style videos that really help people build a deeper connection to your message, and really help building all that out. And so I'm excited to talk with you about that one day.
I think we're gonna work on that, because you know we're gonna triple it up, right? Because you know, for one of the music videos you can do with Elijah, my son, is gonna be at the gym.
Sweet.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna double it up. We're gonna go between promoting his music in the gym, so it gives a really good visual, for his song, but also give a good visual, you know, for my gym, and then we could flow off that and see where we could take things.
For sure, man. Well, man, this has been a great conversation. Look forward to working with you in the future, and and your continued success with everything you're doing, man. You're killing it, man.
Let's go. 2021, hard work, dedication.
One is in the name, so I like winning. Well, all right, man. This has been the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. All right. That's a wrap.
Ooh.
Set this up. I don't know if that's still going.
Yeah.
Low battery still going. Sweet.
Yeah.